All right, I'm just chilling out here playing some T4 in my 99 account, trying to help my clan out. We are on the verge of getting. We don't do any grinding at all. That's not our lookout. We just play tournaments, and oh, we're so close. Put in a little teeny bit of effort, contribute to the team. So one of my teammates sent Acacia Reserve, hole 8, par 4. One of my teammates posted there's a Reddit thread out there talking about, man, what do I want to do here? Got a big tapa. You know they're going to bring out a big ball on me. You know it. A Reddit thread out there talking about tournaments, like our tournaments pointless, or what's the deal with tournaments? And I'm man, I'm almost there. Not just like I wish they'd do some tournaments stuff different. And the main thing I'd like to see them do different is, people talk about the win with tournaments, and the deal is, when the game first came out, the wins were variable. They were just like it is in one-on-one. So you could get on a hole and have a 4.1 mile an hour headwind, and the very next group that gets on this hole, Buster, the very next group that gets on this hole ends up with a 5 mile an hour tailwind. And so it was a huge variable. And I will tell you, when you're playing golf in the real world, there's a predominant wind. And so you may get some gusts here and there or whatever, but you have a predominant wind. And so at the time it was like, they're fixing the weather, but it really is BS when you go on one hole and we're on this shot right here. And we had a 4.1 mile an hour headwind, and now we've got a 2.4 mile an hour side tailwind, and we're in the same plane. So I'm at minimum club. What is minimum club? What is my minimum Kingfisher? It's 2.4 per ring. And so that was like totally unfair. But what they can do with the wind, 2.4 per ring, so it's one ring. And my dog's I'm trying to get him used to being outside. Hitting it perfect. See if it'll get in the hole. Get in the hole. Just a bit outside. So what they can do with wind is, because that kind of wind right there, that's totally BS to me. And we see that all the time. You're on a hole and you get some 10 mile an hour headwind on the drive, and then the next shot you got a 6 mile an hour tailwind, and it's in the same plane. It's not like you went around a corner and now you picked up the wind. In the tournament, if the wind is blowing in a certain direction, if it's blowing from the right to the left, on the next shot it's going to be blowing from the right to the left. What they can do is change today. In today's round, we're in the qualifying round, and the wind is blowing. We have a predominantly northeasterly blowing wind. And in the opening round, the wind's changed and now it's blowing due north. That means it's going to change on all the holes. The problem is that Playdemic has never set up a golf card. So go to your local, go to any golf course in America, the one that's closest to your house. Tomorrow when you're out and about driving around, go into the golf course and ask them for a scorecard. And on the back of that scorecard, there's going to be a picture of the course. They're going to have it all laid out. It's usually like in a little animated graphics, right? They're going to have it all laid out, and you're going to be able to tell. So like when you're at the end of hole number 1, you can look over to your left and there's somebody teeing off on hole number 7, or like hole number 2 may play parallel to hole number 1, and you got to go to the left to get on the tee box. And so they'll have it laid out because they don't have 75 billion acres to roll this out. They've got a plot of land that they had to figure out how to configure a golf course in that spot. Good game. And so like try and take all of the holes that we had and draw the direction of the wind in the last tournament, and then try and figure out how they're configured. There's no configuration to it. So if Playdemic really wanted to help out, they could make a course layout and say, hey, today the wind is blowing from the right to the left. And here's our course layout. So the wind's blowing in, here's our course layout. And this is hole number 1, and here's hole number 2, and here's hole number 3, and here's hole number 4. And they've got all these holes laid out so that you get back to the clubhouse, right? And so the wind is blowing this way. So this is north, and this is west, and this is east. So the wind's blowing in a northwesterly direction. Okay, so we know that on hole number 1, we're going to get a side tailwind. And on hole number 2, we're going to get a side tail. And hole number 3, we're going to get a headwind. And we can look at the holes and go, wow, that's what we got. No, so in the opening round, they go, okay, hey, here's our course layout. And the wind's changed, the weather's changed a little bit, and now you're getting a due north. And so that's going to change all these holes. So that whole little thing about what's going on in the community with the elevation stuff, like, oh, it's plus 10%. Well, I'll tell you what, that 10% is going to change depending on what the wind is. And if you don't know what the wind is until that day, I mean, you could wait until Friday and play a bunch of accounts. You could, and you could get a head start on a jump. So people that have more accounts would be able to get a jump on that stuff. But that'd be one way to do it. To, Buster, knock it off. That'd be one way to get a jump on these holes. But it's still going to be the same deal. You have people that have tons of accounts. I have 2 accounts that I play. I have a practice account and I have my main account. And I really don't care how my practice account ends up. I don't play. I mean, sometimes I get on a roll when I'm playing in my practice account, and I've got a few banners in it just because I've been on a roll and fired out a monster round. But usually I couldn't care less. And I have this account right here, which plays just low level stuff. And I don't really, I played this account right here mainly just to demo how to get the minimum score and show people how to get into the right spot to give yourself that opportunity to get into the cup. And that's really the whole purpose of playing this account. If I really put a lot of thought process and a lot of effort into this account would be very successful. In this tournament right here, looking at the rounds, shooting a 26 in the weekend round, 26 in the opener, and a 16 in the qualifying round. So I mean, this account, even though it's a low level account, it's still possible to shoot monster scores and go through the deal. Part of the deal is that people want it to be easy to win. And I have people in my clan who had never won a banner and won banners. And it takes a certain amount of effort and a certain amount of practice and a certain amount of dedication to the game to become a winner. And once you win one, you understand what it takes to win the next one. And you understand that it all starts with, and I know if you watch my channel, and I'm not trying to be a broken record, but it all starts with the minimum score. It truly does. Most people that move up and they go to pro or they go to expert or they move up to masters, when they get up there, they're all intimidated by the course. The whole deal is go up there and shoot the minimum score, because you're not going to ever get better. It doesn't matter if you went out there and you hit that awesome shot and you did that stuff and you got an Albie on that hole. If you can't get the birdies and the eagles on the holes that you're supposed to get the birdies and the eagles on, it doesn't matter how many shots you can pick up on some holes if you can't shoot the overall score of the minimum score. And there's just way too many people in the community that have this expectation that, hey, I play, damn it, and I should be able to win. Well, you're right. You do play and you should be able to win, but it takes effort. And I'm not the type of content provider that usually puts up shots that are like, hey, do this. I'm big on everybody out there's got different stuff. Everybody out there's got different clubs. Everybody out there is going to use a different ball based off their ball inventory. I mean, what I can do on my main account versus what I can do on my practice account, I don't have the ball inventory in my practice account that I have in my main account. So there's some holes that I have to mix it up. I have to lay the shot up. I don't have the ball to get me out to that spot. And instead of pushing the issue, I just, recognize that I can't get out there. So I'm going to lay it up and I'm going to give myself another shot. I'm going to give myself a different shot to get that albie. Maybe it's in a wood instead of a long iron. But I think the whole thing about people saying that, it's true. The people that win tournaments are going to win more because they understand what it takes to get into the top 10 on a consistent basis. And if you put yourself week in and week out in the top 10, you're going to get wins. I mean, you can't go from 50th place and be all pissed off and go, well, I'm not getting any wins. Well, you're in 50th place, and there's nothing wrong with that. My whole goal as a content provider is to help people who are in 50th place or 80th place or not making the weekend round get better, so that I can help you get into the top in most brackets, depending on what the level of your account is. I can help most people get into like the top 15, top 20, sometimes top 10. And then there's that last little bit. It's all up to you. You have to figure out how to play your clubs. But when we talk about win in tournaments, the way to do that is to set up an actual course and tell us which way the wind is blowing. And that will solve some of the problem, because you do have a lot of content providers that have 12 accounts and they play them on Monday, Tuesday, and by Wednesday, when they start putting out content, they have it down. I mean, they got it down. They got it down to the blade of grass that you're going to hit on. If you watch my channel, it usually takes me the entire week to figure out. I mean, that's why usually the best score that I post all week is in the weekend round, because it's taken me all week to figure out exactly what I need to do. Like, what is the elevation for my clubs? What is the elevation for the angle that I'm coming at the hole? Let's just go play while I'm talking. What am I doing? What was I thinking? Sitting here talking about it and got all caught up in it. I think there's a lot of things that they can do to change tournaments that would make them. But here's the deal. You got to watch out what you wish for, because good players are good players. And they're going to be good whether the wind is blowing one direction or not. I do believe that it is fair in the community for us to know, unlike what it was in there originally, where we had the variable winds, where it was like one-on-one. Like right now, we got a 5-7 headwind going from the right to the left. And look at the course and then see, like, next time whether the wind's blowing the same way. It's always like we're in a freaking tornado. And this kind of stuff right here in tournaments, it'll kill you, because you get on some of those holes and it's like, man, you've got to have a tailwind in order to be able to get over to that spot. And so maybe one of the rounds we get a tailwind. Maybe one of the rounds we can go on one of those holes. Like, think of some of the city park holes, some of those par fives. If we get a tailwind, it's possible that we could get over the par 5 ball and we can get on one of those par 5s in two. But if you don't have a tailwind, you ain't doing it. And I don't care if you pull out a par 5 ball or not. I'm going to use my big Tapa and my Marlin and my big dog. That's right. You heard it. 5-9. I think it's 2-4. Is it what the heck does this club play? 2-4, big dog, 2-5. There's 5. And we'll just move it that much. That looks about right. I can tell you, if they changed the winds and they made them like that, not necessarily, I'm not talking about variable winds where we get on the holes and it's variable like that. I'm talking about where we know what the wind's going to be based off of, just like weather. Like, you get on a course and you go, hey man, the wind's going predominantly in this direction. Trees can change that. So you can be in a funnel where there's a little bit different wind and stuff. But if they're going to change the wind, that would make a difference. But people that know how to adjust for the wind and know how to use the wind ring method are going to be able to make those adjustments, especially from the front to the back. Like, there's a lot of times, if you watch my rounds, even in the last tournament, the backside, I was much better than I was on the front, because I was making adjustments. I made adjustments that were different on the back than what I made on the front, because I was watching what was happening. I know how to use the wind ring method. I know how where the ball was. I paid attention to it. And I was able to make adjustments. I wasn't just looking at a set of notes and they were static. Those notes are dynamic. And I was able to make those adjustments. And if you don't know how to use the wind ring method, you're not going to win tournaments. I can tell you that right now. I mean, I'm sure that there are a few people out there that won tournaments that didn't know how to use the wind ring method, but that's a really lucky deal. And I was thinking I had my big dog in my bag, and I don't. So now I am in the brown stuff. The brown stuff. The other thing that they could do to change tournaments is make us declare a bag. Oh, now I'm really in the brown stuff. Is make us declare a bag. So people can't go in and change clubs from one hole to the next. So you get on that hole, and I can think of several par fives in the game that you can get if the wind is blowing right and you bring the right ball. And even if the wind was blowing slightly wrong and you bring the right ball, if you've got a big dog, if you hit to the spot and you got a big dog, you could get on it too. But if you don't have a big dog, you're not getting on it too. Because the big dog's the only, I mean, maybe a cataclysm, but that's it. But the other side of that coin is that you get on that next hole and that big dog blows, because you really want to have the ball guide. You want to have the stuff to get it up there, and you want to have a lot more control of the ball. And you don't have that sniper because you brought that big dog. And what about those holes that it's like, man, a QB is the club to have right here, or a rock is the club to have? Or, hey, on this hole, I'm going to need backspin. And I'm going to need lots of backspin. So a Saturn or an upper developed Grim Reaper are the clubs that you want to have. And you bring that Grizzly, and that Grizzly's not going to work on that hole. So being able to pick a bag and say, hey, I declare that I'm going to play this bag in the opening round. Now you could change clubs between the opening round and the weekend round. You made some changes. So I mean, if they wanted to make some changes that would make it tougher, those are two changes right there. But I will tell you right now that the people that can win tournaments right now, they're going to be able to adapt to that. And primarily they're going to be able to adapt to it is because they know how to use the wind ring method. They know how to adjust for wind. And it really doesn't matter. Like right there, that hole would be a prime example. I brought my Guardian because my Guardian worked on holes 1, 5, and 7, but it did not work on hole number 9, not unless you bring a big ball and you pound it out there with your driver so that you can get yourself into the range. This hole right here is another prime example. I only play this hole with a QB. And with my low level account, you can get it done with an extra mile, but it's much easier to get it done with a QB. And so if they make you declare a bag, that would be a really big deal. If they actually told us what the wind was going to be and they laid the freaking course out like everybody else in the world who has a golf course, that would be a big deal. Let's see if I made that over. So I always play this hole with a QB. I always play that shot right there. 2.5 to 3 rings off, max curl. I'm playing with a Marlin, so I was trying to eke it out there a little bit farther and put a little bit of overpower because you really want to get past those trees. But the thing about this shot over here is that you can bounce it over like my opponent's doing, or you can come up here and you can do a rough bump. You can also come over here where it's a little bit flatter and you can curl it around, or not necessarily curl it. You can use side spin to bring it around if you are around those trees, but you have options over here. And the easiest way to get over here is with a club that has super good accuracy and lots of curl. So if you bring your lower level, or even an upper level extra mile, you may have difficulty on this hole on the drive just because you don't have a club that has curl. And so being able to declare a bag would change the whole dynamics, because then it puts a lot more emphasis on clubs. And I'll tell you right now, from just the standpoint of looking at Playdemic as a business, You want to put emphasis on people having to get good clubs. Why not put emphasis on people having to have good clubs? I think it's 2.4 per ring. What is my big dog? 2.5. I'm going to go about that far. It would definitely make people want to work on their clubs a little bit more. I mean, you already got enough people in the community that are like, man, you're just buying clubs if you're opening up lots of chests. Yep, you're right. You're right. Because that's the farming aspect of this game, because this game is monetized. Playdemic's in it to make money. And I'm in it because I love playing the game. And so the game is a lot more fun when you have better clubs. Every single person out there who's listening to this video, I guarantee you has some club they're like, man, I can't wait till it gets to that level. And so the only way you're going to get it to that next level is to open up chests. I'm not a big fan of buying those chests. Like if you have a bunch of coins and you buy a pack, or you buy some balls and you've got a bunch of gems, going in there and buying those packs, because I don't think that you'll ever open up one chest and get all the stuff that you're looking for. My dog is pissed. My wife's in the house and he's out here with me. He's a mama's boy. Get in the hole. I think there's things that they could do that would spice up the tournaments. I do like the idea of making the win different. It's still going to, the thing is that it's still going to benefit those who have more accounts. And from Playdemic's perspective, when the game first came out, it was super hard to have more than one account, because they did not want you to have more than one account, which was totally, I mean, when you think about how they're monetizing the game, hell, a lot of people that have multiple accounts have special balls, and they bought that pack. Instead of buying that $4.99 pack in one account, they bought that $4.99 account in 8 accounts. One of my really good friends, Mike D, our clan president, he's got his practice account and his main account. Hell, he's got more balls in his practice account than I have in my main account. So from their perspective, they're not going to want people to just be playing one account. They want people playing multiple accounts, because it helps their bottom line. I think the main thing on the tournament stuff is that if you don't know how to use the win ring method, first of all, you're not going to win. I think it's really funny, and I'm sure that most of the people that are listening to this channel right now listen to Tommy. And when the win ring method first came out, Tommy was dead set against it. He was like, man, I don't use the win ring method. He shot a video one time and demoed like how he actually did the win. And it was not the win ring method. 1-6. I'm going to go about there. But you watch his stuff now, he definitely uses the win ring method. I mean, anybody who's up there at the top, if you want to win tournaments, you've got to be able to accurately adjust for the wind. And that big dog blows on this hole. You got to be able to adjust for that stuff. Good game. I'm not winning very many clan points coming out here dinking around like this. I need to change up some of my bags. See if they'll replay. I just give everybody an opportunity to replay. Come on, man. Come on. I was talking. All right. Take my money. I got you. What else could they do? What else could they do to I'll tell you, one of the things that they could do is they could give us a damn break. They could have a period where there's no tournament, so that like instead of doing these 9-hole cups during the off week where we have literally no break, they could give us a couple of weeks off every now and then. Like once every, like when the majors come, we have a major and then we've got 2 weeks off and then we get back out. Just some kind of break to give people, because I think a lot of people in the game are getting like, it's totally hard. You get burned out. And if you're wanting to win and you're not having any success, I'm going to use my sniper. I'm going to use my Viper. Hey, knock it off, Buster boy. I switched that to a big dog. That's the only bag that should have a big dog in it. What the hell was my quarterback bag doing with that? I'm going to switch to Let's see, distance wise. Distance is the issue here. Backspin. Accuracy, topspin. I'm going to switch to my Saturn. I like my Saturn. All right, I think everything else there will work. Let's get some clubs in here I can actually go out and win with. Now, I don't even think about ever having that Buster. Acacia Reserve, hole 6, par 5. This right here is a prime example. In the tournament, all of these holes that we played, all these Acacia Reserve holes we played, I brought out different balls because we're going to play under tournament settings versus playing under one-on-one. And if you go into a tournament and you're just playing with Marlins and you have something, I'm going to be a purist. You're going to get your butt kicked because Playdemic is a ball manufacturer. And they're going to set these holes up so that certain balls have a better shot of winning than other holes. I mean, hello. I mean, there's just no way they're not going to do that. And I don't know what the deal is with that top one. I'm curious to see what their second club is because I'm not sure what the deal is with that top spot up there. Like, I mean, like how far is that shot from up there? I mean, because think about distance wise, like an arc. Because if you're down in here, you're in wood range, and that's a hell of a shot to get down in there. Four nine. It's about that far. And now I missed it. So bringing out better balls. There's just so many things about tournaments. Yeah, go ahead. I don't think you can make it from there. Yup. Let's see if you can make it from there. Can you make it from there? Now, if you got a big dog, I suppose you can make it from there. That's the only club that you could make it from there. The amount of topspin that you'd have to put on to get over from that spot. Let's see. Let's see if they get on or if they give me a shot to recover. They almost pissed me off. Not quite. They've almost pissed me off. Nice shot. Well played. Want to give me shit. Yeah. I see how it is. You can tell my attitude changed. I got irritated. They want to play for real. All right, we can play for real. Why would I not lay it up there, dude? What was I doing on this hole? What hole is this? It's hole number 6. I'm going to bring out my trusty dusty calculator since I don't normally even know what the elevation adjustments are on a hole. Since this was a hole that we just got finished with in the tournament. I have the notes here in front of me. I do have a shot for Albie from here. I was bringing a much bigger ball though, so I'm definitely going to have to take this with my wood. And I'm going to be able to take it with my Saturn. So it's 2.1 divided by 2. It's 1.1 rings. I don't know if I have enough side spin to get me over there though. .36 rings. Put a little bit of curl on it. Hitting it perfect. See if I got my distance right. That's the issue. And over curled it. What are you doing, Buster? All right, now we're friends. Now we're friends. Getting the birdie. All right. Now we're gonna go to a shootout. We'll see how we'll put the rubber meets the road. I just like the whole thing. We're going back to the whole Reddit thing. I'm gonna stay on that track for this video. In the video, in the thread, talking about, you know, some sandbagger hitting a minus 33. That gets me. Why is it just because somebody hits a divided by 2? Whew. Why is it just because somebody can shoot a 33, they're a sandbagger? You know what it is? They're actually pretty good at the game. 4.48 rings, so 4.5 rings, doing a 60% wind adjustment. Ain't it perfect? Close. Amazingly enough, I thought that at the beginning of the week for the tournament for these Acacia Reserve holes, we only played these holes in the 2017 Summer Major, and then we played them here in the Safari Sunrise. That this hole right here was like the worst par 3 of the whole bunch, and I hit 3 hole-in-ones on this hole this week with a 60% wind adjustment. It was freaking crazy. At the beginning of the week, if somebody told me I'd hit 1 hole-in-one on this, I would have told them they were smoking crack. And nice shot. Nice shot. I think they won. Wow. That was close. Close. Good game. See if they'll rematch. See if they'll give me my money back. They don't want to, or get their money back. What else can we do? What else can we do? Put some comments in the video here when I'm done. If you watch this video, put some comments in and let me know, like, what types of things do you think they could do? I'll tell you, they do a lot of stuff right now that a lot of people aren't aware of. I shot a video here not too long ago on bracketing. It's in my AAA strategies and guides. It should be like one of the very bottom videos that's in there. And I talk about bracketing because most people don't realize, they just think just because you're playing in rookie tournament that you're playing against guys that have 46 trophies. And that's not the case. Buster boy whining. All right. I'd let Buster in. He finally quieted down long enough that I was able to let him in. My wife brought me something to eat. So yeah, a lot of people just don't get the whole bracketing thing. They look at all of the stuff in the tournaments and they're just like, they don't understand that there is, because I've seen stuff on there that, well, if only people that have won or banned, or all those people should play each other, and then everybody. All right. We get in brackets randomly. A lot of times with accounts, and I've talked to a lot of teammates about this. One of my teammates, Josh, Green Cheese, me and him talked on the phone one day, and the whole deal about, especially your first account, which becomes your main account. Like, I have, my main account is actually my practice account. My main account is 77, and 77 was my practice account for odd. And I never took my practice account above Tour 7, because back in the day when the game first came out, the thing is that any course that was in Tour 7 was in Tour 2, and anything in Tour 3 was in Tour 8, and anything in Tour 4 was in Tour 9. And not much. And so I was able to go. There was times when the holes in the next tournament were in T10, and I couldn't play in T10 because I was in T9 or I was in T8, and T10 wasn't open, and I wasn't playing up there. I didn't have the coins, so I could go down. You couldn't get live action. So like I couldn't take my Masters account and go down and play Tour 4 or 5 and get live action. So if I went down there and played with my Masters account, all I was doing was losing trophies to replays, and it's hell trying to get them back. So you never want to drop down once you start going up. And so I had a practice account that I never took above. I never took above expert, that stayed down in T7 and below, never played a match above. And so a lot of times people take their first account and they run up to the top because the community's like, you've got a sniper 5 and you need to be playing. Hey dude, I play wherever I want. Just because I have a sniper whatever. I see the question all the time about, like, I'm going up to this next tour. What club should I play? I don't think it matters if you know your win ring numbers. I am screwed here because I don't have any ball guide in this club. And I'm definitely screwed when I don't hit it perfect. That's encouraging, though. I have my distance right. The bracketing in the tournaments is actually very fair. Most people don't realize it, but the bracketing is very fair. And people up at the top, not everybody at the top, but a lot of the people that are at the top 10, top 15, top 20, do have banners. And I'll bet you that if you look at their tournament standings, they're consistently in the top 10, top 20. And you're never going to get a banner unless you're consistently in the top 10, top 20. And that's not to say that you can't play and you're like consistently in the 40s, and then all of a sudden you're on some holes that you just light it up. But typically the consistency for playing 18 holes and being able to maintain that level for 18 holes, there'll be a drop shot here or there. And it only takes one drop shot off the minimum score to kill you. And so people that tend to be at the top are the ones that are consistently at the top. And you have to work your way up into that point by taking notes and by practicing and by being on a good team where everybody helps everybody. Being in a really good clan is a really big deal. I'm just curious about how many of the people that are out there that really have no support. They either have a clan where they're the only person in the clan, or they're in a clan where nobody really talks and really that helps everybody. It's one of the things I really like about my clan is that everybody's helping everybody, and there ain't enough room to work the wind out. So I'm gonna do that right there. I'm going to take 3-9 out, which is right at about 2 rings. I'm going to put a little bit of power back in it so I can give myself a little teeny bit of breathing room there on that pad. It said perfect right there. We'll see if that was a perfect. There's so many things that you as a player can do to get better chances, but I do think that there are things that Playdemic can do that will make the tournaments more competitive. But the deal is that they're still going to be making the tournaments more competitive for the people who are currently up at the top. You still have to know how to use the win ring method. I tell people on my team, if you want to get your bankroll up, you go to Tour 7. And why? Because the mass majority of the people that play in Tour 7 and even Tour 8 don't know how to use the wind ring method. So they've made it up to that point by eyeballing it. But once you go to Tour 9 and you start playing for the big money, you're going to get your butt kicked if you don't know how to use the wind ring method. You may go out there and win one here or there, but you're going to lose your bankroll real fast because people that are in Tour 9 who are successful and that are definitely trying to move up, they know how to use the wind ring method. So if you go to Tour 7 and you know how to use the wind ring method, in most cases, you can go out with a marlin and hit fairway to fairway to green, fairway to fairway to green, fairway to fairway to green, and you'll win 50% of your matches just outright, right on the field. You don't even have to go to a shootout. And you'll win, I like to think of it as you win 50% of your matches in the shootout. So that puts you as a 75% player. And all you have to do is hit fairway to green and keep your ball in the fairway. And how do you keep your ball in the fairway? You make great wind adjustments. You lay up. You do the stuff that you need to do so that you can go fairway to green and you don't try and get aggressive with it. I love it when people hit over to the left. It's almost like giving me a free shot. The second shot, now I see people that come over here and they'll end up in the fairway, but this second shot from over here blows. And you only have one option. If you can make the shot over on the other side over here, you have two options. And I have to cheat a little and only go 2.5. 5, 9. Max curl, a little teeny bit of overpower. Hitting it perfect. See if we can end up in the fairway. And hopefully get past the trees. It's a much easier shot when you get past the trees. Yeah. The deal is that I have to thank Tommy for this hole. Because if you watch Tommy demo this hole for rookies, he always shows to demo to the left. And then they have this spectacularly tough-ass shot to try and get on the green. And in most cases, they end up right where that person ended up. And it's on this hole right here, you should have an extremely high win percentage when people hit to the left. And all you have to do is come over here to the right. And you can do a bounce up. You can do a second bounce rough bump. And I don't have to get up there. I don't have to get aggressive. My goal here is not to get into the hole. My goal is to get up there on the fairway. It's 3-4. So we're just a titch over 2 rings. I'll put a little bit of curl just so I make sure that I wrap around those trees if I hit a great to the left. And I could care less whether it goes in the cup as long as it hits that rough and rolls up there right there. Perfect. Okay, I got a tip. In tournament play, I'd bring out a big ball so that we could go up there and do a rough bump. But in one-on-one play, I don't care about getting up there and doing a rough bump. I want my opponent to have to make this rough shot. And in most cases, they won't. And if they do, then we'll just go get in the hole. Oh, they got robbed. That was close. Nice shot. Yeah, I always like getting on this hole. And I always know people who watch Tommy and that learned how to play this hole from Tommy because he taught him that shot. Thanks. Overall, I mean, Tommy's been great for our community and stuff, but I love this hole. Next time we get this hole in a tournament, I've hit a few albies on this hole, but this has never been a high percentage albie hole for me. And I am in tournament play, I bring out a bigger ball and I'm always in the right spot. And I always have the best shot coming in. And it's just tough as hell to get an albie on this hole. It's always like right at the cup, but it just doesn't want to go in. No rematch. How much time we got on this video? I ranted for the first like 30 minutes. Sorry about that. The whole tournament thing just cracks me up. People want to make it easy to win, and the deal is that I've played men's club tournaments in the real world, and I will tell you right now that there's guys that are in my same handicap bracket, and those guys want to win too, and they want to beat you, and it's tough to get a win in any sport, in anything. And it gets me about the whole thing in the community about people practicing and taking notes. Why do you think we have caddies? Those guys know. I go to Mexico on a regular basis and I play golf down there. And they always ask, hey, you want a caddy? You bet. You bet I want a caddy. Absolutely. I don't know if I can get this done with a level 7 extra mile. I think I can. I think I can. In the rough. I'm going to bring out a Titan. This is because this is one of my favorite holes. I'm going to bring this bag right here. And I'm going to bring a... Oh, well, come on. Pick the ball. Pick the right ball. Yeah, you can do it. I think I need to put on just a little bit of backspin. I'm going to be right there. Right where I'm on that tree. And I'm going to leave the wind in because I'm a little short on distance. Do I take the wind out? And I'm going to take the wind. I'm going to take some of the wind out. I got all of it. Let's see if I got the angle right. That's the difference between playing that forever with an extra mile 8, trying to figure it out with an extra mile 9. So with the extra mile 9 right there, I could have left the wind in. I could have put all the topspin on. With an extra mile 8, if you got tailwind, you got to do about 1, maybe 2 backspin, depending on how big the tailwind is. And if you got headwind, you got to put on 1 to 2 topspin. And it'll bleed out there on the green. Nice shot. Nice shot. Putting pressure on me. Crowd goes wild. Freaking machete. There's Max. So we're in that funnel down here at the bottom. Couple backspin. So I can get a little more control over the tip. I'm going to be over here on the green, that's for damn sure. I can't get far enough away. I have to put 3 backspin on. I want to go straight at it. And I'm not going to get it off. Oh. I had my speed right, though. Sitting here eating a snack while I'm playing. Trying to get some energy. I had to walk out on the course and stuff. The girl came by in the cart. I bought a couple drinks from her, and I bought a candy bar. A protein bar, I should say. It's funny going out with the caddies when you're on those resort courses. If I don't choke to death. Because they're all like, bring it out. Bring out the big club. Just kick it out in the course. No, dude. I'm actually trying to play for handicap here. I want to see what I can do today. Damn. I was watching Dale Appleby stream earlier, and he was drinking beer and got some beer in the wrong pipe. Damn near choked to death on video. And we were all laughing at him. And here I am doing the same thing. This is another one of those holes that I always like it when my opponent goes over to this side. Especially with a white ball. Because it is brutal from over here. I don't think I have enough distance. Did I bring a sniper? I did. Barely. It's a good thing I have that wind. I need about 2 rings of power. It's a little teeny bit of topspin. So it's 1.4, 1.26 rings. So I need about 2.5 rings of power. Isn't it perfect? Damn. Oh, a little too much power. My bad. I opened the door for my opponent because they're going to have to do something spectacular to get up. That right-hand side is a losing proposition, in my opinion. Now, it's not that my opponent can't get up there and get ahead of me, but in most cases, it's losing. I'm going to go right at the cup. From this distance, we're about that far. Isn't it perfect? Let's see if I got my wind adjustment right. Into hole. Yeah, I'm just not sure about the tournament thing. I know that I almost, if my clans hadn't really needed the points this week, because we're on our way to Masters, I just was not feeling it. I played all week. I shot some videos so I could demo holes and give people a really good look at it. We played in the practice round the week before. I went at these holes in as many different ways as I could figure out. And what was funny about it is that when the tournament came out, I saw 16 other different ways that you could go at it. That's what's funny about these holes is that there's not just one way that you can do stuff. You can mix it up. And by the time we got to the weekend round, I was just fried. So I didn't play on Saturday, which is always a big mistake. Because then I put a lot of pressure on myself on Sunday. Because I got to play everything on Sunday. And usually Sunday is a day that my wife and I just kind of chill out. So I had to get up really early in the morning and play my practice account and this account. How much time we got on this video? 54 minutes. Oh my gosh, we're done. Played 54 minutes and did I not even open up a pin chest in 54 minutes? Too much time talking and not enough time playing. All right, I'm gonna play a couple more. I'll fire up another video and I'll just play a couple more holes. But that was some Tour 4 in my 99 account, just playing with some T4 clubs, just chilling out, talking about tournaments. Hopefully I just don't get the whole, I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. I think that there are things that Playdemic can do that would help out tournaments, but the deal is I think a lot of what people are bitching about tournaments is not going to get better because they they don't put in the effort to win. And they don't surround themselves with people that want to win so that they can, you know, go up there and try and go for those. I'm really proud of my clan when I look at the scores that are in there of how many people are right at the minimum score. So I know that a lot of players in my clan have lower level accounts or are players that have been playing for a while that are trying to really figure the game out. And if you look at the consistency of rounds and the mass majority of the people, unless they weren't able to play the round or finish the round, the mass majority of the people that are in the bracket are in the top 50. And I would say that the even more than that, that the mass majority of them are in the top 25. And how much effort it takes. It takes 700 people to make a weekend bracket. So if you win, or if you're in the top 10 in a weekend bracket, you're in the top 10 out of a pool of 700. So like where you're at as far as percentage wise, it's just really tough to be up at the top, and you've got to practice and you've got to work on your account. Don't drive your account, slow play your account. If you're a brand new player to the game, the best advice that I could give you if you're a brand new player to the game is to slow play your account and learn how to play the game and work on your clubs and go up very gradually. And it'll help you get more successful. All right. Thanks for watching.